So super excited. Let me just share with you, each and every single one of you, a little bit about my experience with Dar and why I'm bringing him here. Dar is actually the first person that, without him even knowing, he's the first person who sold me Go High Level. And the way that that happened is Sean was speaking on stage at an event, and the person that Sean was speaking about this gentleman who sold to chiropractors, and he had a niche, and I don't even know what a niche was really, and but he had this niche, and he was selling his software, his version of the software to chiropractors, and he made all this money. And they put a picture of Dar on stage on the PowerPoint presentation, and I was like, dude, that he's living the dream at this point. Fast forward to me joining High Level, I then went to the SaaS mastermind, and then I got a chance to sit down with the man. He shared with me about how SaaS, he was able to purchase his house, he was able to buy cars and live the lifestyle that many of us as SaaSpreneurs want to live. And this man was ahead of the curve for sure. That's number one. Number two, he's helped many people in the community really understand the value of SaaS. And even his son today is in the SaaS world and has his own SaaS. So without further ado, man, I want to welcome you, brother, man. I'm so glad to have you here. How you feeling, Dar?
I'm doing good. Thanks for asking. But I have two questions. Number one, I would love to know where that picture is, where I was on the slide from high level. I could use that in my authority stack. Number two, uh, why are you one of my affiliates? I
Yeah, so
mean,
so Sean was the one that was presenting, and he was like, "This is one of the people that's in it." I said, "Sign me up, man, sign me up." So
no
I'm glad to
worries.
have
I'm
connected
just
with you
messing.
and built a relationship with you.
I'm just
So
messing.
give us a sneak peek, man. Like, what do you have in store for us today?
Yeah. So, remind me how much time we have. We have like an hour
An
ish.
hour, yes,
I want to be
an hour, yeah.
respectful of everyone's time here, give them some good information, kind of core information, and then do you allow some time for Q&A? Is that within the hour
Yeah, for
or after
sure.
the hour?
After the hour.
Okay.
It can be with
So,
it can be within, completely all up to you and the audience for sure.
sure, no worries. And I like to do interactive. If it's just me talking, you know, I start going down rabbit holes. So I love it for being interactive. If I have questions, I'm going to tell my story a little bit just so people know, that I'm just like them. And yeah, some of the things we've been able to accomplish in the SaaS world using high level
Let's do it,
and
man.
how we do it, how we do it.
I'll remove myself, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so I'm going to uh, share my screen. Let's make sure. Can you all see that? Okay, I guess I don't have a chat. So let me open a chat so I can see. There we go. Hey, thanks so much. Here's a question that I would ask you all to do. Please proactively just be active in the chat. I have this weird thing about being like, hey, if you can see the screen, give me a one in the chat. If you like this, give me a seven in the chat. I know people do that. It feels weird to me. So just every now and then, put something in there so I know you're still listening and you're getting value. Okay. So, one other thing I want to tell you really quick, when I created these slides in Canva, and downloaded them. They didn't quite format right. So I got a few things that are like painted outside of numbers, but that's okay. If they're outside of the lines, we're going to be all right. So I'm going to talk to you about roadmap to 100. But really, you can't get to that 100 mark if you don't get to your first 10. And so what I like to emphasize to people is race to 10, right? The road to 100 is going to come and it's going to be filled with ups and downs and challenges and wins, but the race to 10 is where you really get your momentum and get going. And I would tell you also, and I'm sure you've heard this, imperfect action always beats talented non-action takers. So you're going to make mistakes. It just happens. In fact, making mistakes is kind of like one of the prices you have to pay to grow, right? People who are afraid to make mistakes are afraid to get out there and get clients. And if they're afraid to get out and get clients because they're afraid to make mistakes, then they're never going to grow. So you're going to get clients, You're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn. Some of those clients are going to give you grace. Some of them won't. You'll lose them. You'll learn. You'll get more clients. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so who am I? My name is Dar Holdsworth. I am happily married to my wife, Latricia, for a while now. We have three amazing kids. I shouldn't say while, 20, 21 years. We have three amazing kids. My daughter, Olivia, who just uh, finished her first year at Trinity University. My son, Jack, who's also in high level with his own SaaS business. And my son, Will, who graduated OU last year, University of Oklahoma. We also have our fourth dog, our fourth kid, Luna, who's, I don't know if you can see Luna. Let's see. There she is on the couch. So we've got Luna and yeah, our fourth kid. And as you can see in the picture here, I have fortunate enough to win all three of High Levels awards, the SaaSpreneur Award, the Highly Award, and the CAR. So so yeah, I know a thing or two about high level. And but I want to tell you about some awards that I have won before that, and it's interesting because I'm thinking about doing a high level post. So, a little side note here. What you see in front of you is me holding the World Championship trophy, World Championships of Custom Motorcycle Building. And I won that twice, 2 years in a row. Built custom motorcycles for celebrities, Tim Allen, Usher, Toby Keith, have bikes all over the world and struggled to make a living, right? So I had a lot of followers, did some really, really cool things, was on TV, on magazines, in magazines, but I couldn't make any money, right? And it really came down to the formula, right? I had a expensive building that I had to rent. I had expensive employees, expensive equipment. It took a long time to fulfill for my clients, building custom motorcycles, and overhead just outpaced production always. And it would ebb and flow and ebb and flow. And it finally got to a point where we were going to lose our home. Like I was three house payments behind, had a foreclosure notice on the door of a house that we had lived in for 18 years. And so I was like, man, I've got to do something. So, so I took a full-time job and I did a full-time job while I also tried to save my bike business. And sometimes you have to do that. You know, I don't know, late 40s at that point, 49, 48, something like that. And so I pivoted. Let me see. I don't have a slide here to show you, but while I was doing a full-time job, I started pivoting. Like rather than do bikes, let's do bike parts. So we can then uh, uh, sell those bike parts to everyone who has a custom Harley Davidson. And they would, air cleaners and foot pegs and so forth. And because I had, pedigree in the industry and world champion and all that stuff, we sold a lot of bike parts. But we sold a lot of bike parts to distributors around the world. Netherlands, Japan, three different distributors in the US, one in Europe. But their margins were so huge and my margins were so small. I was just like trading money. I was just trading money. And so gosh, let me see. How would I say this? I was working full time during the day. And then in the evenings and the weekends, I was going to my bike shop and I was designing and building and packing custom parts and shipping them to all these warehouses. So I, um, so I got curious about how I could sell more bike parts online. And, and I found my way to ClickFunnels, right? We all know the book, or if you don't, it's, oh, what are .com secrets, right? So, oh, hold on, Luna's dreaming. Luna,
Is
it's
that
okay, honey.
is that the
She's
first book that you read in digital marketing?
the first book that I read in digital marketing, .com secrets. And I'll tell you, I'm here to tell
What
you, I don't know how many
when
people
did
on the
you when did
webinar.
you decide on high level?
Well, that came a little bit later, but I want to illustrate a story of persistence because there are people that are on this webinar that won't make it, not because they're not smart enough. They won't make it because they won't have the persistence and resilience to do it, right? So I had no choice. My back was up against the wall. And I bet half the people on this call are smarter than me intellectually, right? School, not, school, education, whatever. I was average at best, but I had to figure it out. And so I bought the dot-com secrets. I bought ClickFunnels. We were paying for it. And I don't know, like 7 months in, 6, 7 months in, my wife was like, you need to cancel that ClickFunnels. And I'm like, but I've got my, my funnel hacker shirt. Thing is I got stuck. I got sidetracked. And she was like, well, you have a $700 t-shirt. So figure it out or cancel. So like I hunkered down one weekend and really like figured it out. And I did a free plus shipping offer. And that changed my belief in digital marketing because I launched this free plus shipping offer and we blew it out. Like we blew out the product in one weekend, had to turn it off. But now I'm packing and packing and shipping, right? So I'm working a full-time job and I'm packing and I'm shipping. And I'm grateful and I'm pissed off at the same time because I'm up there on the weekends packing and shipping products and really not making any money. So COVID hit. And when COVID hit, uh, there was a bunch of uncertainty around. And when this uncertainty came around, we decided to just close the bike shop, right? We were like, this is it. I'd gotten back to even. We didn't know anyone any money, but we couldn't keep the overhead going. I mean, I had like $30,000 a month in overhead, which this is not in the slides, but let me tell all of you, this is such a tremendous opportunity to do high level. You think, oh, $400 a month, $500 a month, whatever it is, right? If you're on the SaaS Pro plan, $500 a month, you've got some coaching fees with Andy, which are well worth it. Let's say you're all in 6, 7, $800 a month, maybe a little more, maybe a little less. That's it. That's your overhead, right? And you don't have to have inventory. You don't have to have a rental building, a lease, none of that. I had to clear 30 something thousand a month in overhead before I could even pay myself with this other shop. So anyway, we closed it down and one weekend, myself and someone in the motorcycle industry who used to make my leather seats for me for the bikes, we got together to make masks. And in one weekend, this is what Drive will do for you and like really have to make it happen. We shot videos, designed a mask, put up a landing page, and started running ads on Monday. And in 4 weeks, we did 103 or $105,000. And I tell you that because like that was my real jumping off point. Each step, I built a little bit of belief. Free plus shipping, a little bit of belief. Face masks, 100 something thousand in a month, a little bit more belief. And I took my share of that and went all in on the digital marketing. Now I still had a full-time job because I had to, right? So as I'm still doing this full-time job for another couple of years, I'm figuring out how to deliver wins. And I'm partnering with um, different experts because I didn't feel like I was an expert myself, right? I did some stuff for an accounting guy. I did some stuff for a fitness guy. And then my chiropractor, who's a friend of mine, said, hey, that stuff that you're doing for those other people, would you do that for me? And that's where my journey really began in terms of creating my SaaS business. But at the time, we were trying to do lead gen. And I found out about high level through, oh gosh, I don't even remember. It was, I think, one of the courses that I was taking. They were talking about this new thing called high level and that it could do a few more things than ClickFunnels could. And my clients at the time, the chiropractors, had a need that ClickFunnels couldn't deliver, but high level could. So this is fast forward, and I went from a house almost being repossessed to building a new custom house, thanks to my SaaS business. Um, by the way, I retrained myself at 50 years old. So it was like really 49 years old. I was almost becoming 50 and I was feeling sorry for myself. So I was like, is this all it's ever going to amount to for me? Right? I made like 40, 45 grand a year, struggling to like keep things going, not taking vacations from my family. And I just got to a point where like 50 was that number for me. I'm like, I am not just going to let myself become, um, just like swept away. Like I'm going to proactively figure something out. So I did. I got curious. I took courses. I took a lot of courses, some better than others. Anyway, I'm really glad that I made that decision to stick with it. And so if I would tell you all anything at all that you take away from this is stick with it, right? Resilience is the key. People learn at their own pace. People learn faster than you. People learn slower than you. Someone might have an advantage because they know someone who knows someone and they've got a lot of clients that you can get in front of. Someone else doesn't, right? Don't compare yourself to others. Compare yourself to where you were a month ago, a year ago, so forth, and where you want to be when you look back on today's date. Okay, moving forward, let's get into the meat of it. So I'm going to just kind of high level, no pun intended, talk about these core things. Number one, any questions so far? I already feel like I'm rambling.
If you have questions in the chat, you can put in the chat box. If you have questions, put in inside of the comment box here. Uh, s- Purple Ink Marketing said, "Needed to hear this. I'm 49." That's powerful, Dar.
There you go. There you go. Okay,
So
let's see.
I'm excited to get into the meat and the potatoes because we have about 30 minutes left, and I want to make sure that we get the maximum
Okay,
value for the meat and potatoes.
here we go. Okay, niche. You have two choices: horizontal or vertical. I mean, you can get that's really it. Uh, I am in both, right? The Cairo niche is a vertical niche. And in that niche, I can go deeper and deeper and deeper with solutions for my chiropractors because I really understand them well. I know the niche. I've been in it for a few years now. I know the things they need. So whatever I create for them, we've got some incredible workflows and incredible solutions that we have specific to them. It's really easy to copy and paste those snapshots to deliver wins to the other chiropractors. In a horizontal niche, you can't do that as much, but a horizontal niche is bigger, right? So in a horizontal niche, you can have things like AI booking bots, missed call text back. They're all going to need that same thing, where my chiropractors need something more specific. But the more specific you are in your niche, and if you speak to that niche, the more chance they're going to feel like you're speaking to them. So, for example, let's say um, concrete, right? Let's say concrete workers. Like I've got a big house here and I've got a big slab of concrete for the driveway and the whole thing, right? They make a lot of money. They're not probably not that technically adept, right? So I could speak to concrete. But if I wanted to go even niche further, I could speak to colored concrete, right? Or concrete stainers. That's maybe more of a more specific niche. So, yeah, let's talk about the avatar within your niche. So, your avatar, you need to understand who they are. Again, if you're niching or specifically niching down, right? Your avatar is going to determine your niche. Do you understand their industry better than they do? It's a good idea if you do, because then you can bring solutions to them. It's like you're speaking to them and like, oh, they're speaking to me specifically, not at me. Um, do you enjoy your niche? So let's say, for example, uh, you like cars. Like, man, I want to do something in the with cars. But I don't think I want to go to car dealers. That may be too competitive. That might be a red ocean. Well, how about window tint and film wrap shops? There are thousands of those all over the US. And the average, I got my new car that High Level bought me. They got the windows all tinted and the sunroof and the wrap protection. I don't know, I spent like $1,000. So, it's a high ticket item. a little shop that could probably um, use your service. So think about things like what you enjoy. Another thing is, it's not on the slide, but you need to, it's more advantageous if you have a niche that does, um, I want to say, doesn't have a high price item, but has good monthly cash flow. You want to be in a niche that has good monthly cash flow, or I should say, deal with businesses that have good monthly cash flow, because if they don't and they're struggling, you don't want them. They're going to be pushing on you like, oh, I can afford it. And the lowest price clients that we have are also the ones who want the most, complain the most. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. The clients that pay us more are just happy and content. We just do the work and they don't complain. Okay. So your offer. Your offer is, uh, well, let's see. Your offer, I'm going to step back a minute. People get into high level and they're like, man, all these things, and they feel like they have to use all the features. You don't have to use all the features in high level. It's great that high level has all the features. Think of it as your bag of tricks. Think about your offer as your bag of tricks, right? And what are you going to have in your bag of tricks? 4 or 5 things, 2 or 3 things that you can deliver really good. And it may be easy things like missed call, text back, and AI appointment booking, and appointment booking, database reactivations, whatever your industry needs or your niche needs, right? Um, I'll give you an example. For our chiropractors, they want new patients, right? So appointment confirmations, appointment reminders that are automated, automated missed appointment reminders, automated reviews, automated recalls, things like that, that all circle around or focus on the patients and the patient experience. And so a lot of things that high level does, we don't do for our chiropractors because it's not a need for them. But a different niche might have that need. The other thing is, do they already have a SaaS solution in place? So when you're talking to people, you want to ask them questions. You want to know what they already have in place. Do they have a software in place that you need to integrate with? I would tell you to run if they do. Our chiropractors do. And it adds quite a bit more complexity for us because we have to integrate into their medical EHR system. And so if I were doing it all over again, I would find a niche that I did not have to integrate with another software. And then what can you do to carve out a blue ocean for your offer? Right? Think about this. Maybe everyone's doing AI, for example. Oh, Jacques says, what niche would that be? I don't know, but I would try not to do like the top ones that, people are like Cairo and fitness and this and that. I would try, well, like the example I gave earlier. Um, Concrete could be a good one. I don't know. I haven't investigated it, but think about someone or a business who needs the tech, but they're not into the tech, but it could really help them. And they have a product that is in demand and is a high value product. So they're turning over good cash flow. So yeah, concrete stainers, you never know. Um, there are a bunch of them, but there are some obscure ones out there for sure. One of the people that I coached a couple years ago had axe throwing as little axe throwing places all around the US. I'm like, oh, how about that? Let's see. In your SaaS system, you can have done for you, you can have done with you, a combination of both. And another thing that I don't have on here is a tool. And honestly, I think if I'm starting over, I'm leaning more towards a tool because the more clients you have, if you have a service that you're providing for them, you need to scale with it. So it's more challenging to scale into the hundreds of clients when you're doing services for them because you've got to have the team to be able to do that for them. But if you position your SaaS as a tool, like missed call text back, two-way texting, a few of those things, and you don't really have to do any services, then you can scale. So think about things like Asana, ClickUp, other tools, softwares that you use. I've never been on a Zoom call with ClickUp, never had anyone doing anything for me from the ClickUp team. Like I've had to figure it out myself. And so yeah, you're probably actually going to see me start another SaaS business that's just a tool. It might be lower price, but you can scale it infinitely. Okay, moving on. Positioning. When you do get in front of people, they're going to check you out. So you need to make sure that you are positioned. You want to make sure you have a good branded landing page that sets your brand apart, speaks to what you are about. You want to illustrate the benefits of the features rather than features themselves. Not just, oh, we have missed call text back. Well, why is that important? Right? Think about, how do people search and how do people buy? Right? They search on Google. They generally don't go past the first page of Google. They're going to choose from the top 4 or 5 people that are on Google, or businesses that are on Google. Generally going to reach out to a handful of them because they all appear to be trusted in the space, because they all have a high number of reviews. Whoever gets that business is going to be the business that generally gets back to them first, and is polite and competent, and their price isn't crazy. This is where missed call text back comes into play because of the 5-minute engagement rule, right? So my point is to illustrate the benefits of the features of your offer rather than just the features themselves. Testimonials, you have to have proof. You're not going to have testimonials in the beginning, but you're going to get beta clients, and your agreement with those beta clients is to get testimonials. We're going to talk about that in a minute. As soon as you can get testimonials, you want to get them on your page. And you know what? It might even be, as you're starting out, you might get testimonials that are character testimonials, right? So if I were just starting out, I didn't know what I was doing, I may get someone who knows me as character, says, man, Dar is amazing. They work so hard he works so hard for his clients, blah, 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 blah. They don't have to say, Dar got me 100 reviews. So when you're starting out, you want to get any kind of testimony you can that helps build trust with your prospects. On your landing page, you want to make sure to set up a demo link, whether that's a demo link, well, a link to a demo or a link to a webinar. And with that link, you want to be sure and put your forms up there. And those forms are not just for getting contact info, but you can use that form. Well, generally I have it as a 2-point process. I get their info first, and then I've got another form that extracts pain points related to the benefits of my system. And so they're having the epiphany, oh yeah, I'm not seeing a lot of people organically. Oh yeah, I am missing calls. Oh yeah, I don't have as many reviews as my competitor down the street. And then you want to give value. Here's where my formatting is a little down here below the line. But you want to give value. Give value on socials. Demonstrate your skills. Become the authority. Frankly, just take what you learn in the videos, whether it's high levels videos, anyone's videos, learn it, and then present it in your own words. Okay. Acquisition, your first clients, beta. I know Andy really leans in on the webinar formula because of webinar, it is a great formula. And so I don't want to tell you anything different than what you're going to learn from Andy. So stick with that. But in the beginning, you are going to need beta clients, regardless of how you get them. Beta clients are clients that well, as you can see on the screen, you're going to make mistakes. As I said earlier, beta clients serve several purposes. One, they get you momentum, they get you going. Two, they get you testimonials, but also you learn. So if I were going after a new client right now as a beta client, I would say, hey, I had this amazing software system, and we are really dialing in some new features. I would be happy to extend you a discount for a period of time, 3 months, 6 months, whatever it might be. I'd like to extend you a half price discount well, in exchange for your feedback so we can dial in our system of these new amazing features that we're doing. Sorry. Um, right. And so you let them know, hey, look, we're dialing in something new, but you're going to get it at half price in exchange for your feedback. And you tell them, I would tell them, we are going to stub our toe. We might make a few mistakes, but we're going to respond really fast. That's why we're going to give you this 50% discount because we want your feedback so we can really tweak it and dial it in. And then also we would love a testimonial from you. So, you know, whenever you want to ask for that, once you've delivered some wins, whether it's in the first 2 weeks, 4 weeks, etc. Now, these beta clients can be business owners, they can be friends of friends, any affiliations that you might have. Once you have started delivering some wins and you're feeling confident in the system, and honestly, a win is connect their Google business profile. They start getting texts back and forth on the Google business profile or on on the mobile app because you want to tell them as well to download the Lead Connector app. They start getting texts. I mean, that's a win. They start getting reviews. That's a win. And so as they're getting wins and it's becoming really easy for them to adopt usage of the system, then you want to incentivize them. Um, you can incentivize them with either affiliate arrangements or I have to say, I learned this from Matt Decino. You don't have to give away what they're not asking for. So don't just jump right out there and say, oh, I'll give you 20% of everyone you send, because they might have been just happy with $100. Like anyone you send me who signs up, I'm going to give you $100, little finder's fee. Take your wife out to dinner. And then ask beta users what organizations they might be able to introduce you. So, for example, one of my beta users, Dr. Mike, introduced me to a Cairo organization. I got in front of them. I failed miserably, learned a lot from that experience, but then it made me more competent that when I went after the next Cairo group, I was able to pick up a lot of clients. Okay. Acquisition, sales, consistency. Like your day needs to be comprised of revenue generating activities. We can easily get sucked into workflows and building this and building that, but 80% of your time needs to be revenue generating activities because that's going to make up for the mistakes that you make, the clients that you lose, because you will lose clients. But as long as you're generating new clients and learning and getting better, that's going to serve you well. Now, on acquisition, there's generally a couple rules of thought. Low ticket plans, you don't want to spend your time doing a lot of demos, right? You want to use the webinar formula or an ads model or something like that. Higher ticket plans are worth your time to do demos. And to get good at them, you need to do a handful of them. I did about 50 demos before I got really, really good. And on those demos, I learned what people were asking. So I was able to adjust my demo based on feedback that my prospects were asking. Only at that point did I automate the demo. So yeah, there's that. All right, Andy, how are we doing? We got like 15 minutes left. I'm almost
Yeah,
there.
I mean, this is huge. This is great. Like you're giving us the step-by-step strategy really on that road to your first 10 to 100 subscribers.
Absolutely. And I will tell you this as well. I probably should have done a slide on its own just for race to 10. Race to 10 is like no holds barred. Like just whatever it takes. Like if calling everyone you know, getting other people to tell people about you, posting on your socials, doing the webinars. Like you are, I don't know, like rabid almost. Like it is a race to 10 because you want to get those mistakes over as quick as possible. You want to learn as quick as possible, and you're only going to learn by doing it. You're not going to learn. You'll get knowledge from watching videos and showing up to coaching calls and so forth, but you're not going to really get uh, the knowledge reps until you're putting them in. And you want that, you want to fail fast, right? So by any means possible, that is the most where you have the most skill set or you're most comfortable, whether it's cold calling or going to BNI events or doing webinars or running ads, whatever it is, you want to race to 10 because your first 10 clients are your hardest. Your next 10 come a little bit easier.
How
Your next
long? Let me
10
ask you
come a
this,
little bit easier.
how long in your journey, if you can remember, how long until you got 10?
Oh man,
How long did it take? I know you've been in it for years.
it took me over 6 months. I mean, I was doing it. Well, I mean, you gotta think back. There was no SaaS coaching. There were no coaching
Yeah.
courses. There was no um,
Direction?
there was
Was
not
there
like this
direction?
affiliate stuff where like you sign up under me, I'm gonna give you this. And like I signed up my own. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
I would so and I was doing that while I had a full-time job. So yeah, it took about 6 months, I would say, ish. Um, my entire first year, I didn't have maybe 25 clients by the end of my first year. But then the next year, it really took off, right? I really knew what I was doing. I had some consistency. And honestly, if it wasn't for the having to integrate our software into a third-party medical EHR softwares, we would have gone much faster. So
What
that integration really slowed us down.
I'm huge on declaring. So in the audience, in the chat box, I want you to write down if you're currently not at 10 or you're at less than 10, how long until you want to be at 10? So write down the date that you want to have in your Stripe account 10 customers paying you on a monthly basis, whether that's 10 people at 997 or 10 people at 497 or 10 people at 197, however much it is. So Jacques put June
Love it, John.
20th, right? So Carlene June 15th, Sharon July 1st, Stephen Warren July 4th, Chris 10 by the end of July, launching in June. Chris G July 1, Mark 9 months. So I have two clients now. Want 10 Don want 10 at 397 by June 30th. 10 people by July 1st for Terrence. TQ September 15th. Excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. August 1 at 197. So this is awesome because these are some of the things that you really want to identify and think about. Dean by July 30th, just starting out. This is some of the things that you want to think about is what date do you want to be at 10?
Mhm.
I remember spending time with in my journey, man. Uh, everyone had like I've noticed that people who kind of come into the high level world, it's like, oh, you're new, or you've been here, you're an OG, right? And then I guess suppose it depends when you started your SaaS. When I came in, I met Dar at the first mastermind. It's very important to join the coaching programs, join the in-person events, and so on and so forth. I met Dar in person at a mastermind in Dallas. It was like 2 years ago and some change. And he was telling me about the house, like his house. You saw the video. I just posted on Facebook that me and my wife just got our house and new build 30 days 30 something days ago, brand new build. And I was tremendously inspired by your presentation, Dar, and your experience because no one else talked about getting a house. Everyone was like, yes, the car, the traveling, but
Yeah.
a house, that was a huge game changer for me in my journey. So I'm gonna ask everyone in the chat box this question right now. We're going to talk about it doesn't have to be material, but when you get your SaaS to a specific level that you want, whether it's 10 grand a month, whether it's 15 grand a month, whether it's 30 grand a month. I just had a coaching call with some of our coaching clients 45 minutes ago, and we were talking about targets. When you get to your target, whatever that number is, 30 grand a month, 60 grand a month, 80 grand a month, 90, whatever that target is, what is something that you want to invest in, whether it's a house, whether it's family, whether it's vacation. Dean wants to retire his wife. He was super clear on that. I didn't even finish the
Yeah.
question. He already answered it. If you want in the chat box, I want because what Dara is sharing with you here is essentially the overview blueprint to that, right? The onboarding sequence,
Mhm.
the the roadmap, the meetings, the horizontal versus vertical, and so forth. Like Dar is breaking that down for you, right? Mark is like, hey, I just want to pay my bills and feed my kids. Like that's huge, right? That's valuable. Just to have a system that's repeating every month and your kids are taken care of and your bills are paid.
Yeah.
To start with phase two of the business, I want to retire from working and buy land, right? So many of you already have your targets here. Back to you, Dar.
Yeah. Well, let me just comment on these comments. So, by the way, I'm glad that people are commenting in the comments. For me, it's it's hard to describe. There's two different like visions I have in my head. People see things differently. On the one hand, it's like, say, oh, I want to make $1 million, or oh, I want like it's hard to grasp that, right? It is for most people if it's so far removed from where they are now. But if you say, I want to do some of these things that just get me in a better spot, I just want to do some of these things, but you have in your mindset that you, one, are not giving up, and two, you're going to keep learning every day, every week, every month, and applying what you're learning. You'd be amazed at what happens. So I really remember um, when I was in the bike business, like a state of hopelessness. They're like, man, am I always gonna have to like work two jobs? Am I gonna have to and now, I mean, I remember it because it happened, but now it's like, man, that seems like a lifetime ago. It was just 5 years ago. Now we have the new house. My wife, by the way, so someone said retire their wife. I've done that with my wife. She had to come down to the bike business and work from like the bike business was not her dream. She wanted to do other things. But because we couldn't afford to pay other employees, she had to come down for 10 years, worked inside a motorcycle shop. It's like, babe, you put in your dues. You don't have to do anything anymore unless you want to. Right. So I retired my wife. And this is just by moving forward. Um, let's see what else. House, right? Custom house, custom office. The high level car, bought me a car. Uh, my daughter is at a prestigious private college that cost us about 60, well, actually cost me about 44,000 a year that I pay for. That there's no way in hell I could have done it when we were in the bike business. And I didn't have like money set aside because we struggled in the bike business. So I didn't have like college funds, right? But now my wife's retired and does what she wants. My daughter goes to this private school learning neuroscience. So these things happen by virtue of just, if anything, having the main goal to better your situation, right? And then depending on how much you want to better it, you have to reverse engineer those numbers. Sometimes I have to remind myself because I get comfortable. Um, I'm driven, but there are people that are like way more driven than me. Like you start making multi six figures a year and like things just happen and you do get a little comfortable, right? So I have to remind myself, okay, I want to bring home 500 grand this year. And so after taxes, before taxes, blah, 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 it needs to be X whatever number. So based on that, I've got to have X number of sales. Based on that, I've got to have X number of people that reach out to. Um, and, work those numbers back. But anyway, okay. Let's go to onboarding really quick. Onboarding is really important. It's where you set the stage of whether you're going to have that customer long term or whether they're going to bounce in 30 days. So you want a great onboarding sequence that is automated. And when it's automated, you're welcoming them into your tribe. You're using automated snapshots and setting things up, making it really easy for your clients. You're letting them know what to expect. You stay ahead of them the entire way for us, we do two onboardings. We let people know with automations right away. Here's what to expect. We give them a welcome video and a funnel of onboarding videos. We get on the call with them within the first 24 to 48 hours to get some more information from them and to let them know what to expect. Then we send them on their way to do a little bit of homework to set up their own high-level account. We have them set up their own high-level account while we set up some other things that we have another onboarding. We come back together with them. Okay, did you do your stuff? Let's make sure you got it right. We celebrate when they, get like, oh, you got all your calendar stuff right. Man, not everybody does that. Gold star for you. So we reinforce that they've done a good job. They're learning the system. We also make sure that we've set up things for them properly for like a database reactivation or an automated review campaign, things like that. Um, then we have um, weekly trainings for them. So on Tuesdays and on Thursdays, we have office hours. We tell all of our chiropractic clients, hey, we send out reminders. It's Tuesday. We have office hours. Jump on if you need any help with anything. And so, yeah. And then we have check-ins, automated check-ins uh, after onboarding. So like a week after their onboarding, 2 weeks after, 3 weeks after, like, hey, Jill, hey, Dr. Jill, it's been 3 weeks since you're onboarding. Hope things are going well. You have any questions? And then we follow that for the entire year. And we do it with automations. Fulfillment. Important contacts help customers send their. Okay. So we, because we provide a service for the chiropractors, we lock all of our workflows so they can't get in and break things. But they do have access to workflows where they can create their own workflows. And we give them examples of how they can use workflows to um, help provide value in their business to help stay top of mind for their clients or their patients. We make sure to implement, GMB messaging, Facebook messaging, missed call text back, web chat. These are core items. We explain to them that there's lost revenue there if they're not connected. So we make sure that those are connected. First and foremost, we make sure that they are using the app more than the desktop because apps are inherently just, you download an app on your phone. People just on their phone, they know how to use apps. So it's easier for someone to understand how to use the system when you start them off with the app. Like, hey, you're going to get a text, reply back to it. You're going to get a phone call, reply back. You're going to get reviews, reply to that review. Um, so yeah, let's
Let me
see.
ask you this. Let me ask you this,
Go
Dar,
ahead.
because although we have just under 10 minutes left.
Mhm.
When do you have them download the app? The
Uh,
and is it a white labeled app? Is it your version of the app or is it Lead Connector?
it is. It is. So I have two SaaS accounts, SaaS Pro accounts. One is for Chiro Dominance specifically, and the other for is just Lead Connector for my other SaaS account for my coaching and stuff. So if you'll see down here at the bottom of my phone, see the Chiro in the middle,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So that is Chiro Dominance app. If I open it up, here we go, Chiro Dominance, and then I've got Lead Connector that I use for everything else for non-Chiro stuff. But in either business, it's in the onboarding videos, like download the app.
Awesome, awesome. If you have any questions, you can ask in the chat box here. I'll be sure to add
I think
that
I only
towards
have
the
like
end.
2 slides left, so 2, 3. So we were right there. Let's see. Fulfillment. Depending on what your offer is, you want to, well, actually, we talked about some of these things. Uh, you want to get them wins, right? When you get someone a win, whether it's just connecting their Google business profile so now they can text back and forth with prospects, or you're doing things like running a database reactivation for them, which by the way, you could charge for, or running a review campaign for them. So one of the first things we do after we do all the setting things up, I mean, because we're really seasoned with it with our chiropractors, but after their onboardings, then we say, okay, we're going to run a bulk review campaign for you because there are people out there who probably want to leave you a review, but just haven't been asked. Or when you've asked them, maybe they were busy, driving their car with their family or so forth and missed that opportunity. So the first thing we're going to do is run a bulk review campaign for you and just try to get you a boost in your reviews. And invariably, we'll get a chiropractor 15, 20. We've had like in a span of a weekend, we've had some chiropractors get 50, 60, 70 reviews. And that's a huge win. But even if you get an extra 5 or 10 over a weekend, that's also a win. So we do things like that, run the database reactivations. Let's see. Oh, and we help them set up other things that could be a win, like text to pay. And of course, now there's AI. AI is a huge win for us. I don't have it on this slide, but um, that's another one as well. And then add value where you can. You don't have to do this right off the bat because you need to be selling and getting out there and getting in front of people. But as time permits, or as you get um, maybe assets from Andy, whatever, if those assets are things that help your clients, whether it's website templates or, um, in our case, we have this automatic website builder, newsletter templates. Though for our chiropractors, we build out a year's worth of newsletters for different seasons, Christmas and Valentine's and April Fool's Day and so forth. And use those that we just drop in their account that they can um, edit and then send out. And then campaigns that are unique to their industry. Um, so this is actually a unique win for my business partner, but every year he wins best of the city. And I don't know what they're called in your city. They may be like Reader's Choice Awards or Community Choice Awards or Best of an Area Code or something like that. But every year he wins. And so the reason he wins is because I put his patients through a workflow that says, hey, Dr. Mike really cares about you. And if you, feel like you've gotten great care from Dr. Mike, would really appreciate you nominating him for Community Choice Awards. And sure enough, we just got a notification last week. He's in the top 5 again. So I just did a workflow that went out yesterday that will go out to all his patients saying, hey, thanks to you, Dr. Mike got nominated in the top 5 in Oklahoma City and surrounding area. And if you would like him to win, please cast your vote. Now, this is just an example of something's unique that you could do for any niche. And just think of the authority that that gives them. And they're like, oh, we're best of the city, right? And you just created a workflow that's just reminding people to vote and using a link to wherever they're going to vote, make that a trigger link. Did they vote? Yes or no? Ask again. So, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do to add value that's beyond the normal, just missed call, text back. Okay.
There's some questions in here in the chat.
Got it. Let's see this. And by the way, these are the last 2, but you can ask those. These are easy. So you want to go with the questions?
Up to you. Up to you.
I'll just run through these real quick, and then we'll have those questions. So make it sticky, right? Get video testimonials from your customers. If needed, incentivize them with something. Um, that's just that simple. You tell a chiropractor, hey, and most of them will like, yeah, I'll give you a testimonial, but then they get busy and they forget and be like, hey, just so you know, as soon as that comes over, I'm gonna give you this AI assistant, something I did with FormWise, whatever. So give your customers no-brainer value add if they upgrade to an annual plan. So make it sticky with annual plan. I swear by these. I did a post on High Level just yesterday about I got a $4,200 annual plan client yesterday. Paid up front, $42, $4,200 for our middle plan, and they got 2 months free. So I'm like, yeah, if you pay up front, you get 2 months free. Plus, I'm going to throw in, an extra couple of bonuses. And in this case, I gave them a picks. So um, you could do anything. You could do website templates or, 12 months of holiday campaigns, anything that adds perceived value to incentivize someone to buy an annual plan, because that annual plan is going to give you extra revenue to work with. And if someone does have issues or they get frustrated or whatever, they're less apt to just like, oh, cancel. They're more apt to like get it figured out. Let's see. Okay, moving on to the next. Last thing is the referral program. So whenever you can, you want to institute a referral program, and High Level's made it easier than ever with their affiliate system
Affiliate
because now
manager.
you can make your customers affiliates. So you can show them the math like, oh, for everyone you give me, I'll give you 20%. Let's say you do that. And you're like, oh, after 5 clients, like you're getting your stuff for free. After, 6, 7 clients, I'm actually paying you to be a customer, right? Think about that. High Level pays me to be their customer because of the affiliates that I bring in. Um, right. So you can do the exact same thing. Um, and let's see, use a snapshot for. Okay. Anyway, so that's it. We don't need to talk more about that. We can open it up to, that's my last slide. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Let's go ahead and answer some questions in the chat box. So uh the missed call, this is from Mark. The missed call text back, I keep hitting snags because they want to keep their same number. How do you navigate this? I let them keep their number currently and just add to Google Business Profile and forward to their number. But then they are mad when they don't fire missed call text back to business calls.
You know what? We actually have, so for our clients, we give them an option. We tell them that you have two options. You can get a tracking number, which gives you missed call text back and it gives you attribution. Or you can use a hosted number, which means you can text from your own number. Twilio allows you to do that, but you don't get missed call text back. You have someone that's like, oh, but I want this and I want that. Like, I'm just like, I'm sorry. It just doesn't work like that. So the truth is, it can work, but it's a big pain in the ass. We actually did this for one of our clients over the last month. They're like, well, I want to use my number. And so I'm going to use my number and then I'm going to get a Twilio number. I'm going to forward it to that. And I'm going to forward create this loop. And my staff spent so much time trying to figure this out for them because it's not intended to work that way. And the $500 a month we get from the client is not worth it because they get like every day support calls. Oh, the phone issues, the phone. I'm like, hold on, man. There are no phone issues. We told you how it works. You wanted to, we said we'd be willing to try something for you, but that's not how it's intended to work. And so, you can either do it this way or do it that way. Unfortunately, you just have some clients you just have to get matter of fact with. Polite, but like,
Matter of fact.
this is how it works. Take it or leave it.
The next question is uh, what automated website builder did you use? I mean, is that something that's particular?
Oh, you know what? Honestly, we don't use it anymore. So we had created a custom values website builder uh, quite a while back, over a year and a half ago, and we got away from it. So yeah, it's not current, but we had built it in our system in High Level. It was pretty cool for a while, but we found that High Level sites didn't rank as well as WordPress sites. So we switched to WordPress. We rebuilt, I don't know, like 140 client websites in WordPress, hosted in a High Level. And so we couldn't use our website builder anymore. The irony is that High Level's websites have gotten much better. Right?
Yeah.
Again, if I were starting over today, I'd probably do everything in High Level, including websites.
And mind you, team, like Dar's been in high level for years. So like he's seen the progress where high level has grown and grown and grown and grown and grown. And Mark, I want to chime in on your question too. One of the things that you can do as well, Mark, is you can port people's number in. That's one of the things that we teach in our coaching program is that
Mhm.
we talk to you about porting a number in. So if you just Google high level port phone number, you can learn how to transfer someone's number from one platform to another. Now, everyone here, if you're not currently in our coaching program, I'll give you more context. It's 99 bucks a month, and I'll give you more context by the end of today's training. The next question is, Carlene, how do you deal with any refund requested with an annual plan? That's a great question, especially like if
That's an
in the
annual
middle.
plan.
especially if it's in the middle of the year? How do you deal with that? A refund request.
Uh, I make them sign a contract before they join. So I used to not do this. I used to be like, oh, everyone's going to be nice and good, just like I'm nice and good, and we're all going to do our best. And but there are just some people out there that are squirrely, and so you have to have contracts or agreements in place. And so what I tell them that, essentially, if it's a month to month, they're joining for at least the first 3 months, and then it's month to month after that, and they have to give a 30-day notice. So if they like try to cancel a day or two or a week before their next billing, they're still going to get that next billing if it's month to month. On an annual plan, tell them like, look, you're getting the you're getting the perks and the benefits of the annual plan. You're getting 2 months free at the end of the plan. You're getting the UPEX. I don't call it UPEX, but like you're getting UPEX, blah, 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 at no charge. You're getting, $10,000, something worth of value. So, a few months in, you're not getting a refund. We're going all in. You need to go all in. And yeah. Now there are some extreme cases where we have had to give a refund, but it was when we did not have a contract in place. So yeah.
Carlene, was that valuable to you, Carlene? I'm going to transition. I'm going to add to this and we'll come back to the questions and answers. For those of you who aren't in the Go SaaS Launch Syndicate, I just want to share with you. It's a coaching program that we have. I'll go through it very quickly and then we'll go back to the Q&A. If you are interested in getting coaching and you're wanting to be a part of a community, if you join our syndicate, what a syndicate essentially means is it's a group of individuals with the same goal. So everyone's goal is to create monthly recurring revenue. What I'll be giving you if you decide to join the syndicate is I'll be giving you sell SaaS snapshots, which is my funnels, automations, templates, workflows, and so forth. And I'll be giving you that every single month, giving you additional ones, the same ones that I use inside of our SaaS. We're a gold award winner. So all the follow-up sequences, the webinar sequences, the campaigns, and so on and so forth that we use to get people back on the phones when they go dormant, when they after they close a sale, and so on and so forth. You'll be getting literally we just templatize it and we just give it to you. And you'll be getting additional ones every single month. So my team is consistently creating new ones. So you'll have a library of different snapshots every single month inside of your membership portal. Number two, if you decide to join the syndicate, you're going to get the tutorial videos on how to set up all those snapshots. So you're never going to be alone to kind of figure it out. You'll have the tutorial videos on how to set it all up. Next thing is that you're also going to be getting the SaaS webinar PowerPoint slides templates. So all my webinars that I've done over 344 webinars myself. I'm giving you those webinars, the times that I sold my SaaS on a trial, the times that I sold it for 197, the times that I sold it for 497, the times that I sold my SaaS for 749, different features when I sold UpHex, when I sold the ads launcher, when I sold chat automation. You're going to be getting all my PowerPoint slides. So you can actually just copy it, remove my logo, put your logo, remove my event name, put your event name, remove my name, put your name, and you get it as a template. You're also going to be getting weekly group Q&A calls. We meet every Friday. So if you decide to join today, we'll be meeting together this Friday coming up. And we meet every Friday therefore after. And that'll be included in your. So any questions, comments, concerns, challenges, it's going to be me and you and a group of SaaSpreneurs there. You're also going to get the sales scripts, my contracts, my guides, my templates. The one that's on your screen right now is a screenshot of one of the tools, which is our recurring revenue simulator, where you put your price of how much you want to sell it for, how many text messages you're including, and you can actually see what your gross profit is. So, for example, it tells you here at 200 subscribers how much MRR you're creating, how much revenue you're coming from telephone, how much you're giving away from affiliate commission, and what your actual gross profit is. So many times I ask people like, "What's your price?" And they'll like just give me a random number because they saw it on someone else's SaaS website. You'll actually know what your gross profit is before you launch, and this includes your Stripe fees as well. So that way you know what your actual net gross profit is. Also, because I've done so many webinars, you're gonna get my webinar replay vault. All my past webinars that I've done, when I sold on a trial, when I sold different features, when I sold the inbox, when I sold Google My Business, when I sold missed call text back, and so on and so forth. You'll see how I've presented it and how I've sold it to hundreds of people at a time on webinars. You're gonna get access to a private Slack group chat community. You also get white label sales presentations. So what that looks like is I'll do your sales presentation for you. So you open up Zoom. Let's say you have 50 people in Zoom and you just play my video for them. It's about an hour and a half video. It's unbranded. So I don't talk about my SaaS. I don't talk about Go High Level. I just say our marketing automation software or our chat software. And I sell your SaaS for you. So for example, tomorrow I'm recording one for $497 per month. I'm recording one so that way you just take my video, play it on a Zoom call, and for an hour and a half, I'm presenting your SaaS. And at the end of the presentation, you just put your checkout link. So, for example, if you sell your SaaS for 497, you just put your checkout link for the 497, and then I'll do the presentation selling your SaaS for you. So, to recap, you're getting our sell SaaS snapshots, our snapshot tutorials, the webinar PowerPoint slide template, all my past history, all my templates. You're getting the weekly group Q&A calls every single week. You're getting the sales scripts, the contracts, the guides, templates, my webinar replay vault, and the private Slack group chat, as well as the white label sales presentation. You're getting new presentations every single month. And then there's a form that you can fill out if you want to request certain ones. If you have like a specific feature where I'll do the presentation for you. And we do majority rule. So whatever the majority of the syndicate wants, we'll create that presentation for you. So the value of this is $19.97 to get all of this every single month. But to be competitive, we will ultimately be selling this for $9.97. But we have a program right now for the first 200 people to get in. I think we're at like 180 at this price point. For the first 200 people that get in at $99, you can get in today at 99 bucks a month to get all of this, the sell SaaS snapshots, the setup tutorial videos, the webinar PowerPoint slides templates that come in every single month, weekly group Q&A calls, sales scripts, contract templates, guides, like the annual subscription that we spoke about, you'll get those. The month-to-month subscription templates, you'll get those.
Okay.
You get my webinar replay vault, private Slack group, and the white label sales presentations for 99 bucks. If you want to join, you can join at gosaaslaunch.com/coaching, and you'll be able to get all of this.
Andy, here's my Amex, man. Just
Yeah,
go
you
ahead and
pulled out the Amex. You pulled out the Amex.
just do it. Do it. That's a hell of a deal, man. I'm gonna have to up my game. No, that's great. That's a great value.
So I'll leave the slide
Love it.
up for those of you who are like, "Hey, Andy, you know what? That's a crazy ass opportunity." Yeah, and it is like we're gonna sell it for $997, but for the first couple hundred people, we are giving it to you for 99 bucks. Okay. So let's go through the
Nice.
questions. The next question is, how are you doing your demos, Dar? Are you showing them a dummy sub account? Are you just playing a recorded webinar?
You know what's interesting? I do both. So I do have a demo sub account called Demo Chiropractic, and it has everything that we do for our chiropractors. So, it's got a live working texting number and all that. We have a demo chiropractic website. So I take them through a journey that their patient would have. Like a patient comes to the website and they want an easy schedule, no friction scheduling. They click right here, or they ask the AI bot. And however we get them scheduled and it comes into the system, then I'm like, okay, look, I just got a text that says, congratulations, we've got you booked. And then so I'll take them through and show them how that looks in demo chiropractic. And so I'm actually redoing our demo to include a new tool feature called Sales Prezi that our friend Jeff Van Ostall has built, which is a really cool visual that shows how leads can come in from different channels. And so how would I describe this? I have both automated and real. So when someone schedules a demo, they're scheduling a demo, but what they're really scheduling is they're scheduling to sign up. Because when they schedule the demo, then they get a nurture sequence that one is, uh, hey, we've got you booked, and here is what one of our customers had to say, right? And so we'll send them a testimonial of what our customers said. And then we'll have another nurture that says, oh, by the way, here's our um, Cairo AI assistant that books people. You can go ahead and try it out and just kind of play with it and see what it looked like to have if it were in your office. So they can play with the self-selling AI. And then the last thing is the actual demo itself, recorded. But what I say is, hey, here's an overview of the things that we're going to talk about on the demo. and go ahead and watch this. That way, when we get on the call, you can be more concise with the questions. There may not be, you may already have questions, but there may be questions that you don't know you have. So you watch this, and that way you can come to the call ready to ask those questions. By this time, they've seen, proof from testimonials. They've been wowed with the AI booking bot, and then they've already seen the demo. So when they get on, they have a couple of questions. We're like, yep, yep, yep. Can you see any reason why this wouldn't benefit your practice and why you wouldn't want to get started today?
So it
Okay,
becomes like a
great.
no-brainer
Uh,
essentially.
Yeah.
It becomes like, yeah, this is a completely no-brainer to work
And
with us.
and honestly, our because we're integrated into medical software, there is more technical complexity, which requires demos. I really wish that we didn't have to do that. I would much rather do webinars. I would much rather do one to many, but I've automated as much as I can um, through our process because of what we do. So,
Let's go to the next question. What do you do for S? Oh, by the way, for those of you, yes, webinar snapshot is included in the number one product, which is Sell SaaS. So you'll get my webinar snapshot inside of that program, and you get it today. After you make your payment, you'll get the webinar today. What do you do for SEO? Do you have an in-house or do you have a white label program you use for your clients?
so I make a distinction and tell them that we are not an SEO company, but if they get our website plan, we're going to build an SEO optimized website. So I make that distinction. Like if you build a new building over here on the corner, people will see a new building coming up, right? But the only people that see it are the people who pass by it. Like you still have to drive traffic to it. Same thing with a website. When we build a website, we're going to build it on the proper speed and structure that it should be on WordPress with the metadata, alt tags, all that stuff, on page SEO things. We're going to give you backlinks. We're going to do your citations. In our case, we also do medical citations like WebMD, things like that. We're going to optimize your Google business profile and we're going to set you up with automated reviews, and all that is great core stuff. But there are other companies out there that do monthly SEO stuff. They charge 1,000, 1,500, 2,000 a month because they are building SEO content for you every month, and that's not us.
Let me understand. So, it's like a personal question here at this point. So the offer, you have a plan that's like the website plan, and you're building out their website, but that's the only thing. And then part of that subscription is just maintenance on that website. There's no additional marketing services that you're building out, just website plan, essentially just
Yeah,
the
and
website.
we've even gone to where the website plan is an add-on. So we have our plans because what we did is we looked back and like, where do we spend the majority of our time and where the majority of our frustrations come from? And it really came down to two things. It came down to our medical integration stuff, which no one here is going to have to deal with that, thankfully, hopefully. But it required a lot of time coding and developers and blah, 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 and troubleshooting and why appointment reminders don't go out when they're supposed to and all that stuff. So the integration. And the other thing was um, websites, because there's always someone like, oh, my website is not ranking as well, blah, 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 right? Eh, but they're not doing reviews. Like, well, you gotta send out your review requests. You gotta respond to Google. You gotta do these other things. Or, you know, just, most people are pretty good. But when it came down to us really auditing our own system, where we spent the most time and the most frustrations, it was those two things. So I decided to say, okay, we're not gonna because and here's another thing. I had a 495 a month plan, and the website was included in that. And so if people were not happy with their website for whatever reason, then they would want to cancel that
Based
plan.
off the website, not the tech, not the software.
Right. And so what we decided to do was like, okay, we have these three plans. And if you want a website on top of those three plans, it's an extra fee. And
That's
you don't have to
huge.
get it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's
And then
huge.
also,
No,
I
that makes
won't
so
do a
that makes
cheap.
a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah. And it's, man, the headaches have really come down. I mean,
Yeah,
so they pay
no, that
more.
makes sense.
Like if I'm going to deal with those headaches, someone's paying more. And honestly, the people who are paying more are generally less headachy.
Shaz says, if you have any additional questions before we wrap up, we're gonna answer your questions. All right. So Warren says, I'm already on high level first tier. Do I have to be on the 497 plan to join? No, to join this coaching program, you don't have to be on the 497. The $99 is to me is to get access to the content. You don't have to be on the. You don't have to be. Shaz says, what? Well, would you mind sharing your main SaaS website? Is that something you're open to sharing?
Well, what's interesting is so yeah, I can share it, but it's it's nothing that I put any stock in because of the way our trajectory has gone. So we we partner with a medical software company. And so we don't want so we have competition that it's outside hell. I mean, I have some competition in high level, but we have competition like Review Wave and Zing It and Cairo HD, companies that are not on high level, but they do the same things that we do. And I don't want them knowing what our stuff is. So
Mm.
we kind of we're kind of deceptive with our website in that it speaks in generalities. It doesn't actually do everything I told you all here to do today.
So once
And then
once they
we
get into the
have a
funnel, that's when they know is
yeah,
once
so
they get
we have
into
a
the
unique
actual.
landing page that is specific for users of the medical EHR company and us. So they go to that landing page, which actually breaks it all down. And so I actually do keep that private because I don't want it to get out. But I can tell you
Sure.
it's not, I mean, I could share it without sharing the URL if you want to see that.
The top five products and price of your program, Claude. Claude, can you elaborate on that question? Are you talking about like conversation sites? Is that what you mean by products and the price of his SaaS? Yes. Okay. So, what are your top five uh, features inside of high level, and then how much do you sell your SaaS for?
Okay, so I'm looking at it right now. I'll tell you our average ticket is 397 a month.
397 a month.
That's
So
our
if
our
it,
average ticket. But we do have people on 197, and then we have people who have either one of those plans that have website plan on top of that for another 247. And then we have a new plan that is 695. Actually, we're talking about maybe doing 795 on it.
yeah, brother.
And here's the thing, we have because of the space that we're in and because of the competitors we are constantly compared to, like Review Wave, uh, there are probably four or five really well-known competitors in our space in the Cairo industry doing SaaS related things. So not lead gen, just SaaS related things. And it kind of dictates where the pricing bracket is because people are like, oh, I can go over here, I can go over there. And I don't want to be compared to them in a commodity sense. And so we're really leaning in with AI because we're further ahead of those companies. And we've given AI away, not given it away, we've included it in our 397 a month plan. But now we're taking the AI stuff to the 697 or 797 plan, whatever that might be. And so that's an adjustment that we're making to
Mm.
because it's worth it, right? And so and then
We
here's
got
the cool
time for
thing.
one more question, by the way, as Dar
Yep.
wraps up. One more question. If you want to ask Dar the any specific question about his business, he's been in it for years. You can ask him in the chat box, and then back to you, Dar.
One thing as I was going to say is you want to make sure that you are not viewed as a commodity, right? If they're like, oh, two-way texting platforms, I'm like, well, you know, we want to find out what their pain points are. We want to find out what we are solving for them. So, for example, on the AI stuff, I asked my chiropractors, hey, what would it cost you to have another employee who's on call 24/7 always accurate, always polite, never tired. What would that cost? And booking appointments for you, what would that cost you? Like I just have them, they don't give me an answer, but they have in their mind that just that one thing would cost them more than our all the other stuff that we charge for. And so, and we're like, so if that brought you an extra one or two or three appointments a month, you know, what is an average value patient worth you? Like $1,400. So if we brought you an extra three, four, 5,000 a month with just that one thing, is that worth it to you? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, well,
That's a
here
no-brainer.
we did it with this guy over here. He got 14 new patients last month. And this one I did X number of new patients. So um yeah, you want to make sure that you separate yourself as a software that understands their issues and their goals and what they're trying to do. And when you do
Last
that, you can
question.
charge more for it.
Last question, Dar. This is going to be interesting. Is optometry a good niche?
You know what? I would say yes, but I would also say no. Here's why. My So these cool glasses that I have, I've got like, I don't know, 14 different pair of $1,000 glasses because my friend owns an optical shop, TSO Optical, high-end, cool-ass eyewear. And I do a lot of cool stuff for them. In fact, just last week, they had a trunk show. So I did an automation for him that went out to all their people. It said, hey, this next Friday, we're going to have a trunk show with Teo Eyewear. Come see all the new styles for spring and get a complimentary styling appointment. Click here, right? So I did it. He's like, dude, I can't believe it. Like $30,000 today. Right. And so I do that for him with trade. So I know it's good. I do it all the time. We do cool stuff. But I also know that they integrate with some sort of EHR software that has to be HIPAA compliant and so forth.
Hmm.
So that's my answer. Like
And
if I
you've
were,
had a journey with like the EHR world and
yeah,
and connecting with the APIs and so forth. Like, yeah,
right.
yeah.
And so,
There's a tech element to it, Jacques. Just so you know.
yeah.
There's a heavy tech element. So thank you all for joining. So to recap, if you go to that landing page, go saaslaunch.com/coaching, you'll get access to this. You'll get to this webpage. Sell SaaS snapshots is included for $99. Template, the training videos and tutorials, the templates, Q&As every single week, sales scripts, contracts, guides, templates, uh, webinar replay vault, Slack channel, white label sales presentations where I will sell your SaaS for you. We're nearer the brim already. I saw a couple of you already signed up for this, and it's $99 if you want to join. To join, just put in your name, email, phone number here, and complete your payment, and I'll see you on the inside. Last question is from Jacques. Does Dar have additional training? I believe he has a program coming up at the end of this month, or soon.
Here's what
So
I
if
would,
you want, yeah,
here's what
yeah.
I would
How
say.
can
I would
people reach
say,
out to you?
like, man, I appreciate you saying, asking, John. I'd say this deal that Andy has, this $99 a month is, man, it's a hell of a deal. I mean, I'm gonna give him $100. Like, even though I know, even though I know my stuff really good and high level, you can always learn more. Andy's done more webinars than I have. I might like, you know what? I want to see what Andy's got on his webinar stuff because I think I'm still going to start a second SaaS business that's a automated tool, speak to everybody. Um, so I do have trainings, but I'm not here to pitch my stuff. I am here to support my friend Andy, who I can tell you is the
How can they reach out to
real.
you directly?
And they can go to darholdsworth.com but I can tell you this, like the automations aren't even set up. It's a new website, it's new stuff. I've been really focused on our SaaS for the last little bit. So I'm launching some new stuff coming up. So if you get there, you'll see a website that's live, but nothing's hooked up. So I mean you could message me in Facebook if you want, but like I said, Andy is the real deal and he does teach um, one to many, which is the way you want to do it. It is the less tiring way to do it and to get more customers way to do it. And you know, there are a lot of posers in the high level group who maybe have watched some videos and they think they can coach SaaS because they've got a few clients. There's really kind of a small percentage of people who are actually doing it, who know the pitfalls and stuff. Yes, I'm one of them, but Andy is as well. And that $99 deal is a hell of a deal. So I would jump on it.
Uh, Mark, you asked how do you get in front of the many for the one to many. I saw that you signed up, Mark, for this program, so you'll get that in the syndicate. So go where it says start here inside the membership. You'll get that training, and it breaks it all down. Literally, how if you just follow what I share with you, within the next 14 days, you could have 30 to 50 different people in front of you to sell your SaaS to. I break it all down, and I've seen hundreds of people do it with this training. So I'll see you inside the membership portal. Dar, thank you so much, man, for all that you do.
Yeah,
Thank
of
you all for
course.
all that you've done. And if you have any questions for Dar, you want to build a relationship with him directly, I know I have. He's definitely open. Reach out to him in the Facebook community as well as on Facebook. His name is Dar Holdsworth, and then he gave you his website, darholdsworth.com. And if you have any questions for us, feel free to reach out to our team, support@andyaudate.com. That is support at Audate, AUDATE.com. And I'll see you on the next. We host these every single month, these workshops every single month. The next one, oh, actually, the next one is with Akbar, uh, my buddy Akbar, in 2 weeks, actually, on the 28th. So this is going to be Akbar Sheik in 2 weeks on how to get your 100 subscribers. So I'll see you all then. And Dar, once again, thank you all for joining us in this presentation and giving us the nuggets on how to go from 0 to 100. Bye, everyone.
See ya.